evening. I'm William Shatner, and behind me is Spaceship Earth, the symbol of Walt Disney World EPCOT Center, the symbol of the future. Millions of us come here every year to see what the future might be like. Tonight, we're going to take off from here and show you how close to home the future really is. Oh, you'll still be driving a car, but the car may be telling you how to get where you're going. There'll still be sports, but computers may be building super athletes. Doctors will still be performing operations, but the scalpels may be made of pure light. And as for entertainment, we'll still be going to the movies, but special effects of tomorrow may make everything you've seen so far seem like part of the distant past. Let's take a look.